Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Rabbit Hole after a couple week hiatus. I'm joined with, as always, my friends Kyle Gilroy, our Dark Lord Ray Vader, and I'm William Crandall. And we are joined with us, a very special guest, a friend of ours from Colorado, Jimmy Pallotto. Jimmy, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm tired, and Kyle woke me up way too early. But other than that, it's a beautiful day. I guess that's all I can say.
Yeah. It looks gorgeous out there.
It
It's
is really nice.
right now.
Yeah, but it's also Colorado, so it's only like, what, -5?
Well, no, Denver never gets that cold. It's
25 degrees right
It's probably like 70 degrees right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
It's like 45 degrees up here in Crested Butte.
now.
So that's what you get for living on top of the mountain.
I know. It's also the clouds are rolling in through the valley right now, and like you can't see anything. It's pretty.
I think we got a big rainstorm yesterday, so
Over
it's
there.
probably heading that way.
Oh yeah, we've had rain the last 3 days, just nonstop.
Damn.
I feel like I'm in Washington. I didn't sign up for this.
Dude, right?
Man, that sucks. I feel you. Here at the beach, it's been sunny every day, like perfect 80 degrees. It's rough. It's a hard way to live.
And you get.
Shut up, Will.
I'm just glad that water's cold in Connecticut. That way you don't have to go swim.
I'm glad we're not having hurricanes like Texas.
Yeah.
All right, dude, I haven't followed the news and ever since starting the night shift, and then
Yeah.
Ava had her hip surgery. It's just been a blur.
Well,
So-
all this since you last watched the news in 2 weeks, all of the same things are still happening, but people are more mad at each other for it
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Great.
because that's how the news works these days.
Yeah, it's a hell of a summary.
Yeah,
Is
it
Portland
has.
still under siege by Antifa?
Oh, dude, that whole situation. So ever since George Floyd passing, they've been protesting every day. So it's on like I almost think day 60.
Yeah, I think
No,
it's
I think it's like
58 or something like
58. Yeah, it's getting close to day 60. And it's
Mm.
been protests and riots, more so riots every day. And so now Trump sent in like federal guards or something like that. He
Mhm.
sent in like federal troops, and now they're just literally at war. And the mayor in Portland, mayor in Chicago, anywhere that they've sent like federal troops are just like, get your stormtroopers out of here, which I have issue with calling them stormtroopers, but you don't need to go into that. But yeah, no, there's just cities against the country. They're just at war, basically. And it's
Yeah.
insane. Absolutely insane.
Wait, 2020 is turning out to be a hell of a year,
You
to
said
say
that
the
like
least.
it's a good thing.
What's that?
I said you said that like it's been a good thing. It's been awesome.
Oh, it's been a hell of a good time.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I meant.
We're going to go with the literal hell definition of this
Yeah,
year.
no, it seems like nothing can go right in this year.
No.
Yeah.
Every
The only
month, I'm just like, so what's going to happen next?
The only bright side I find is I'm not in a hospital bed at this point. So
I'm not
Yes. That's always a good thing. I feel like things are going well when you're not in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. It's fucking Sunday.
Yeah?
And I'm in Denver. And I
Yeah.
can't get Chick-fil-A.
You got to drive back to Gunnison, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Dude, that's the worst thing about being hungover on a Sunday is you can't get Chick-fil-A.
I know.
And living in Gunnison. That means you're 4-hour drive away.
That
Yeah.
too.
it's gonna be a fun.
We had a
drive.
lot of good Chick-fil-A yesterday, though.
We did.
I had nuggets out the ass.
If I was in Denver and I had my choice of fast food, I know Jimmy knows this.
Yeah.
Freddy's. Yep.
I agree. There's a Freddy's 5 minutes down the road here.
Nice.
I remember you telling me that. Yeah. Dude, I would weigh 1,000 pounds if I lived that close to Freddy's.
Why don't they have breakfast?
It's objectively the best fast food I've ever had.
Is it fast food though? What is your definition of fast food?
Okay, I show up, I order, and they are legitimately fast, like faster than McDonald's. Like they'll have your food out in like 3 minutes flat.
Ricky
Yeah.
I mean, I cannot prep a meal I cannot make a meal that quickly. Therefore, it's fast food.
Okay. See, I see that, but I would still consider fast food like your McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, Taco Bell, places that have a drive-through for me are fast food.
It has a drive-through.
Freddy's has a drive-through?
Oh yeah, man.
It's a
Oh.
legit fast food place.
Then yeah, it's okay. Then yeah, it's fast food.
Yeah, it's
I thought it was just I thought it was just like a diner, like your
No.
typical, like greasy burger diner, like Steak and Shake kind of deal.
No. Yeah, no, it's well, Steak and Shake has drive-through as well now.
Shake is
Oh shit, that's right, they do.
Yeah.
The Steak and Shake that was by my house just closed down. So
Steak and Shake sucks.
Skank and Shake.
Dude.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd
That
rather
is an experience you can have there.
Oh my god. So
Really?
it's been like what, 3 weeks, almost a month since we last recorded an episode.
Has it really?
I think it's been at least 3 weeks. I don't know if it's been a full month, but it's been at least 3 weeks. What have y'all been doing in that time?
Oh man. Well, I know Kyle's been painting things.
I have been painting a lot of things,
Yeah.
fixing a lot of things, and then painting them again.
Dude,
there's
That's
no
really-
redundancy in that.
Such is the process.
yeah.
Paint.
I've been getting used to the night shift. I mean, I work from 11 to 7 now every day.
Oof.
It actually isn't that rough. I've found it to be more enjoyable than I expected. Because, like, you literally do not have any, like, it's just you, yourself, and that's it, you know?
Yeah.
During those hours. So it's not been bad. I've been watching a shit ton of Jordan Peterson. And playing a shit ton of online chess. What's that?
Really? You've been playing online chess?
Oh, like a fiend, man.
Really?
Like a fiend. Yeah. I've been playing at I've been losing consistently at like 1500 level, but I'm at least having, like, I've had a lot of like 0 blunder games, you know, where I, like, there's inaccuracies and mistakes, but like I'm not like playing like a noob, you know?
I gotcha.
So
Man,
I
you
could-
should have joined Kyle and I when we had Sunday morning chess.
see, I was my ego just couldn't handle it, man. I
Really?
knew I was not ready to play
Fair enough.
against you guys, you know?
Sorry, Mr. Burglar. I'm about to put this bitch in check. Like,
Ray needs to lose a couple times to a computer before he's ready to lose to a human.
Yeah, no, exactly. And Cubes has put the smackdown on me like handily. So
Cubes is pretty good. I've beaten him a couple times, but he's a really good chess player.
really, you beaten him?
Oh yeah.
I beat him.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Kyle will tell you, I'm pretty okay at chess.
What's your online ranking?
Oh, I don't play online.
Oh,
I should, I guess.
yeah. If you've beaten Cubes, because I think he's around 1200. So
Okay. It's
you're,
been
you're probably comparable, about like 1300.
well, when I was in middle school and like freshman year of high school, I think is when I stopped. I was like on my, because I was really, really cool in school. So I was on the chess team.
Yeah.
So popular, went to all the
Yeah.
parties.
Nice.
I remember
but
Basically on the basketball team at that point.
yeah, it was like the baseball players would come to the chess team's parties. Yeah. Not
Yeah.
at all.
we'd go to the chess team's house all the time.
Yeah, to beat us up, definitely.
Get shot on the chessboard instead of like.
Yeah. No, it's been a very long time since I've played competitively, but I was definitely that kid that was like, every other weekend we were going to a chess tournament. I had a ranking, all that stuff.
Oh wow.
I feel like
I
I
was-
was a lot less
I was-
brain if that's what I did.
Well,
Pretty
you look
okay.
like a chess player. If that's
I look like a chess player. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty nerdy. Got the glasses.
I was being
bald.
sarcastic.
It definitely is not. I've had to come to terms with some of my strengths and weaknesses as an intellectual with respect to chess, well, and just the fact that it's like, it reminds me of jujitsu a lot, actually.
Okay.
And that, like, you're studying moves, you're studying openings, you know what I mean? It's obviously very
Watching so
strategic.
many martial
Yeah.
arts movies.
I love games that are simple to learn but impossible to master.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I
chess
mean-
really is simple to learn. There's only 5, 6 different pieces.
Hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 5 different pieces, and they only do one thing each. So
Yeah.
theoretically, it's super easy to learn, but it is impossible to master. Like grandmasters spend their entire life to get okay at that level.
Yeah, I know. And I truly think you're either born with it or you're not.
Yeah.
You know, like some of these, I'm listening to some of these grandmasters and like they're playing like world championship tournaments at like the age of 10. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah. They can see, if you ever watch stuff that like how they see 30 moves ahead, I can't even fathom that. I can barely see 3 moves ahead on some games. And like that's a mental struggle. I have to really be on my game to think what's going to happen in the next 3 moves.
Yeah. I play a move at a time.
Yeah. Well, that's how you start out. But that's cool, dude. No, that's cool. We'll have to hook up at some point, and you'll have to show me how to get on and do some online chess.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm on League Chess and I'm on chess.com. So
League Chess, chess.com. All right, I'll look.
Yeah.
We're amateurs.
Nice, since we last met, I've been binge watching a lot of TV, but I finally hit a breaking point where I am so bored that I decided to learn another language.
Nice.
So I downloaded Duolingo and I paid for the year membership, and I'm starting to learn French, and I'm on a 30-day streak. I haven't missed a day.
You should hit up Ava. She's actually learning French as well.
Really?
No shit. Yeah.
Shut up. Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. Say something.
Yeah. How is she? Is she using like Rosetta Stone, Duolingo, something like that, or
Duolingo as well?
No shit. Yeah, let her know. Then, all right, cool. Because I need friends on there to like compete with and like push me to get better.
You should totally shoot her a text.
Okay. Definitely gonna do that.
Yes, I need proof though, just like Kyle. I need proof.
You need proof? Okay. Bonjour.
Wow.
There.
Dude.
Yeah, you did it. I said hello.
It's
It's only been 30 days. What is it?
Je m'appelle Jimmy.
Je m'appelle William. Comment tu m'appelles? What is your name?
¿Cómo se llama?
No, it's I think it's like comment tu m'appelles. What is your name?
You're like a squirrel.
Your goal needs to be to like learn French well enough that you can travel there and play chess in like the open with like a little cup of coffee.
Yeah. But dude, like since I've been into like, and I'll probably go like 30 minutes to an hour a day where I'm just like going through lessons, going through stories and like trying to figure it out. I keep going back to like my reason for doing it was my whole life. I was like, how cool would it be to like communicate with somebody in another language? Like I took Spanish in high school, like every year in high school, and I hated all of it. I don't know why. I was just not like interested in learning a new language at all. Like I would do what I needed to pass the exams and squeak out with like a C or B in the class just to get the grade. But I had really no interest in learning another language. But as the world is moving on and as culture is progressing and I'm like getting older, I find it so much more fascinating and necessary to like communicate with others on a different level. And so I thought I was thinking maybe it was just Spanish. Maybe that language was just not appealing to me. And so I thought like, all right, I'll try French. And I'm like diving into it and it's just pretty cool. So
I think communication is lacking nowadays. We no longer can say what we want.
Yeah.
What's that?
We no longer can say just what's on our minds anymore. Kind of sucks.
Yeah. Cancel culture is a thing.
Yeah. It kind of sucks, man.
I have major issue with the cancel culture movement. I have major issue with it. Not only
lacking, and so is just failure to communicate is like a big thing. Like it just sucks nowadays. You can't have a good conversation without offending somebody. No,
and I really hate that nobody wants to have a conversation. Nobody at all wants to have a conversation. A few days ago, maybe it was like Wednesday or Thursday, on the most recent, on one of the like Joe Rogan podcasts, he had Ben Shapiro on. And I love when Ben Shapiro comes on to the Joe Rogan Experience because they're both people who are on, objectively different sides of the party, but they come together and just have like the most rational conversations, like 2 hours of them like logically talking things out and saying their side of things and presenting like what's going on. And at the end of the day, they're both still great friends. They go on each other's shows and they have a good time. So, and I really wish more news outlets or podcasts or things would be open to that. Just be like, yeah, I identify as this side of the party, but my friend here is also on this side of the party, and we're just going to talk and have a healthy conversation. More than likely not going to change anybody's mind, but we're going to present our facts and then go have a drink after this. And I wish more people would have that mindset of just like, I really want us to move away from, if you're not with me, you're against me. That is so damaging to our culture. So
I think it's a perception thing too, though. I think like a lot of the news formats they need that dichotomy in order to get viewership, right?
Yeah.
And you only have like 6 minutes to make your point before commercials, whereas the long format that we're seeing with podcasts now is where people can truly vet out their ideas in an intellectual, rational way.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that the more conversations I have with people, because I'll jump into it like first time I meet someone, I'm like, oh, so like, what are your religious beliefs? I'll hit like the hard stuff right away. And like people are generally more middle of the pack than they are extreme, right? Like, and it makes sense with like a bell-shaped curve. Like it's statistically what you would expect. And I think that the podcast, especially the Joe Rogan show, showed that. But I think if you go out in the day-to-day, like, in your neighborhood, local coffee shop, whatever, you will find things to be more middle of the pack and people more moderate than extreme. And also I find like, Will, you're a perfect example. Like like your political background and your spiritual religious perspective, you know what I mean? Like I feel like you are like a conglomerate of different identities of what would be easily polarized in like a short format kind of interview,
I'm the definition of you're tearing me apart, Lisa.
This is no, this is Jimmy's forte. This is what he's a communications guy.
Yep.
You have stuff to say on your mind.
You have your stuff to say. No, you're exactly right, Ray. Like, because growing up, I was more or less indoctrinated isn't the right word to say, but it's the only word I can think of. Like, Fox News was the only news that was ever on in my house growing up. And so I was never like an idealist child, because I think when you're talking about the dichotomy of the political parties is the left think with emotion and the right think with statistics. Like I truly believe at its core, those are what those two parties want to base their views and politics on, especially as you go more extreme on either side.
Yeah.
And so growing up, I was indoctrinated to think, what are the facts? What are the statistics? What is happening to the most amount of people? Mm-hmm. And then as I go to college, going to a liberal arts school, you start seeing the more left side of things. And, my first year of college, I was like, okay, I'm a liberal now. But as I go on and get older, it's like, okay, well, what are both sides offering? You really have to go from that dualistic side of things. I mean, and Ray, we both have master's degree. This is going back to our psychology part of things, going from that dualistic side and thinking, how do we get more multiplistic and grounded and committed to multiplistic side of things?
Yeah. I think from a psychology standpoint too.
Yeah.
Well,
more so development than psychology, but
so conservative Republicans, conservatives/Republicans, should I say, have a higher proclivity to
nice word, proclivity.
Conscientiousness. Oh, big word there too. And then liberal Democrats, liberal/Democrats, not the same things, but kind of, lean more towards openness in terms of big five personality, like test scoring and stuff.
Yeah.
And you do see that kind of rippling through the rest of their ideologies in their lives.
Yeah. And so I am really more conservative, moderate. Like I really do fall within the middle, because there's a lot of things on both sides that I agree with, but there's also a lot on both sides that I wholeheartedly disagree with.
Yeah.
So I try to not put a label on it, especially like what is my political party. But I try to just make a rational decision on what are all the facts, what do I know about myself, and then what about what is happening in politics aligns with me philosophically, and also if I don't agree with it, is it still the best direction for the country as a whole? So trying to think more utilitarian as well, but that's more the right side of my brain as far as political party. My right side of political party think like the utilitarian side, what is the most good for the most amount of people, especially when it comes to global economics and things of that nature. So but when it comes to some of the more social issues like gay marriage, trans rights, Planned Parenthood, things of that nature, I think more like humanity. Thank you. What's the humanity side of things? Like, this is what is right, what is wrong, and let's leave that up to the states to decide, probably.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of where I would like driving it from now on for everything. But yay, politics! Woo! All right.
People, man.
But Kyle, I have a question for you. Yeah. All that stuff in Portland going on, man. I mean, like, in having been ex-military yourself, you know, how do you feel about like the military essentially being sent in to like
do martial law? Love martial law, man.
Love martial law.
I didn't want to say it, but you know.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's great. Like, they're just gonna be asking for it at that point. Because what the military is taught is that we don't care about your feelings or emotions. So they're gonna think that they're gonna be like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great for everybody. But if they don't like getting punched in the face and thrown tear gas already, then
yeah,
you got another thing coming.
Well, dude, both parties are insane. Like, both parties are just like
yeah.
I haven't fully formulated my thoughts on this clearly, but I think the media, depending on what outlet you're watching, only shows one side of the argument. Like, if you go to CNN, you're going to see the troops going in and beating up protesters and like putting them in headlocks and shit. But if you go to Fox News, you're going to see people in Portland throwing bricks at the cops. So both parties are trying to say what side is right. But it just shows that there's aggressions going on both sides. And it's starting to feel like we're coming in because you're because you're rioting and looting, but we're rioting and looting, because you're coming in to stop us. So both sides are just at heads with each other.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine as a president, like, what do you do? One of your cities is on fire. Like, the president still has a responsibility to the entire country. So I can't even imagine as a president, like, what I would do in that situation. Like, it's a hard job.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just gonna, if the American people really want martial law to be instated in a place like Portland, that's a traditionally like liberal, very liberal environment. They're gonna find out real quick that people don't listen when you push them that far. If it needs to be pushed that far, the military is not going to listen to what you have to say.
And I think that's just basic child psychology, where if like somebody who is young or an adolescent is told to do something, their lizard brain is just rebellious and be like, you're telling me to do something? Well, fuck you. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, but that's what the military changes in your mind, is that instead of saying, no, I'm not going to do this, they're going to be like, yes, master. Like, I'm gonna do this. And then they're going to find out. Just real quick, it's not going to be fun. No. It's not going to be a fun environment.
No. I don't know. I don't know what the solution here is. I really don't. And it sucks.
I don't know, man. It's a weird one, because it's like, we value freedom of speech here. You know, in this country. So, I mean, that's something we protect so dearly. But yet it really does feel, based off what I've read and seen, that it simply is, I don't like your view, you know, and therefore, like, we're going to send in federal agents now. I was like, man.
Well, I don't know if it's that simple, like saying, I don't agree with your view, so we're going to send in federal agents. So, like, let's take a look at the CHAZ or the CHOP autonomous zone. You know, the mayor was touting it as a summer of love. It's a great experiment. We're going to try our own self-supporting economy, yada, yada, yada. But there were a lot of things going on in there, like people were dying, citizens who were living in there were trying to get cops to help with the rioting and looting, but they weren't letting cops coming in. So I think a lot of people in that zone were like wanting to advertise the good that they're doing, but not show that, you know, there's still rioting, there's still gang violence. Somebody died like the last couple of days. And then after that, finally the mayor was like, okay, we need to shut this down.
Corona-spiracy.
Or that.
Corona-spiracy kind of guy.
Corona-spiracy. Yeah.
Well, but I mean, like in Chicago, for example.
Okay.
Like why? Yeah, I get with the Chaz or whatever. I get that one. I mean, you just can't have, you know, an independent state forming within the state.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen like that. Not anymore, at least. But like with respect to like the Department of Homeland Security, you know, agents being sent to other states, it's like, you know, protests if they're of peaceful, you know, undertones, they should just be allowed to roll out. And it does seem like it seems like they're the protests, and then the police come in, and it's like this. Like you said, it's kind of this like loop of like
it's the snake
reciprocating, or they're feeding off of each other, and it's like, man, you know, I had not suspicions, but I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Eric Weinstein. He's been on the Joe Rogan podcast a couple times. He's a pretty storied and studied professor, and you know, he's been saying for a while, like, civil war is something we need to be cautious of. And I just think some of this, the police escalation, the riots, and now the federal agents, it's like, man, you know, we're taking so many fast, rapid baby steps towards that, you know. It's getting a little harrowing.
So, Ray, one thing with that I would say is I don't think these troops are coming in to combat the protests, because protests are healthy, and it is our First Amendment right to protest things that we don't agree with. They're coming in to combat Antifa and rioting and looting and almost pillaging at this point, like nonsense that's going on that are riding the coattails of the protest. They're abusing the protest, which I have no issue with. I think what's been happening and a lot of some of the systemic problems in this country are awful, and we need to do something about it. And I wholeheartedly support those protests to make change, healthy change. But there are organizations that want to ride that coattail and cause mass hysteria, mass chaos, burn everything down kind of thing. And I think some of those troops and retaliations are coming in at that. If protests can show that, and a lot of them have, protesters are showing we do not condone the rioting that's happening. We do not condone the looting and burning down of businesses. We don't want this to happen. But there are still organizations that are acting as Marxists, really, and even Black Lives Matter as an organization. They're trained Marxists. I love the sentiment Black Lives Matter. I'm not saying I'm anti-Black Lives Matter at all. Let me say that right there. I love the sentiment. I love the protests, and I love that people are coming together for this cause. The organization Black Lives Matter is run by trained Marxists. So I have to say I don't condone Marxism, but I support the sentiment and want reform and actual systemic change. So there's a lot of there's so many nuances to this that I cannot grapple. But I think a lot of the retaliation that's coming is because of the protests. Is because of the rioting and just destruction going on. I'm trying, But you get what I'm saying. So that's what I think at the heart of it. That's what's going on. And so if we can come to a place where, okay, there is healthy protest and the majority of the country wants this change, then let's have it. Have it. But if it's always followed by rioting, the change is never going to happen.
Yeah,
that's true.
I say we just go back to the good old days of the mafia.
Jimmy stayed quiet. He's like, I'm gonna stay quiet. I'm gonna stay quiet.
Jimmy's always been the silent type.
Yeah.
Oh man, so that's my take on politics and how we're going to save the country.
I know. Yeah, like you said, it's so nuanced and so so deep. I mean, even some of the more highly established podcasts, I feel like can barely start to dent
like
everything that goes into a human social issue such as the ones we're dealing with here in the United States.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I think, I mean, we need to take a crack at it though, because I think the current trends and the current vibes that are being sent out are highly negative, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I agree.
yeah.
It's time for reform.
It's Ava and I go back and forth too. Like, you know, what are the bounds on freedom of speech? What bounds should there be? You know, like with respect to neo-Nazis or Antifa. You know, there's two totally different polar opposites of the spectrum. You know, and that's a whole nother. That's a serious rabbit hole right there.
Well, when it comes to freedom of speech, strict constitutionalist. You can say whatever you want in this country. It is your right as a citizen of this country to say absolutely anything you want in any capacity, as long as it's not, I think, like slander and all of those other things that are protected under legal rights.
Like
defamatory speech, which I don't think is protected. You know, there's a few nuances to that, but 99% of the time, you can say whatever you want. But when you say whatever you want, you have to deal with the backlash of it. That's just a fact right off the bat, because combaters can also say whatever they want. When it comes to doing, you cannot do whatever you want. Antifa can say whatever they want. It does not give them the right to loot and burn down local businesses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I think it needs to be, freedom of speech needs to be very ubiquitous and very uniform in its interpretation, because the second you start delineating between what is allowed, like what freedom of speech is allowed versus what isn't, you're allowing someone to dictate the terms of freedom of speech, and someone will always be offended.
Always.
You know, and like I hate neo-Nazis and all that stuff. It's just like, it's embarrassing. But at the same time, I wouldn't actively try to stop it, because I think like there's like and Ava always rips me apart for this one, but I do believe there's almost like a Darwinism aspect to ideas, right? And that like socially, as a society, as a culture, like I think it is more likely than not, right? 9 times out of 10, like Nazi, you know, propaganda would get squelched out. And like if we were to like promote that on the show, like we would get eaten alive by, you know, just our constituents and our peers, because it's just like, no, that idea it doesn't aid in the betterment of society.
Yeah.
No, don't get me wrong. There are definitely times, i.e. into the 1940s, when it did actually rise, and we always have to be careful of that. But the second you start allowing like one person or one group or just a culture or society in general to dictate what is allowed, is an unbelievably slippery slope.
Yeah.
You know, because it's when things start getting filters start getting applied. Yeah.
I don't like filters.
What's that?
Filters are fake. I don't like the fakeness of everything.
The flakiness?
The fakeness.
Oh, fakeness.
Yeah.
That's like a big motto in America, is fake it till you make it. And that goes with like professionalism and stuff like that. Like you can be on a job interview or on like something and be the most professional person ever, but once you get that job, you know that behind closed doors, not everybody's going to be professional all the time. So I think you should show up rather bearing all these constitutional rights, and just be open and free and just say what you want and do what you want, because you're going to be like that once you get where you need to go anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever. I just don't like the blanket that people put over themselves and stuff like that. And you have to do it for a certain reason.
It's times like this we need comedy more than anything.
Oh, I know.
We need comedy. We need to laugh. We need stand-up comedians. We need all of these things more than anything, which sucks because cancel culture is trying to cancel a lot of them. But I think as a country, if we can unite under laughter, then we'll be so much better culture.
Haha.
Haha.
That was
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, look at the impact that like Dave Chappelle had with his was it 846 or something like that.
Yeah, 846.
You know, you have someone who's he's funny throughout it. But he's also like he's like a philosopher almost, like a social commentary, you know. And that's what comedians do. They kind of hijack your thinking temporarily.
Yeah.
And they're so eloquent with their words that they kind of guide you on this trip of like, here is exactly how to think about this or why I think this way about it.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's a cool way of expanding and gaining understanding of some sensitive topics when you kind of suspend it's like going to a magic show, you know? You're like, hey, I'm not going to dive too deep into this. I'm going to suspend my, what would it be like? Yeah. Beliefs about like, oh, like I know that I'm being tricked right now. You go to a comedy show and you're like, you suspend that sense of disgust that you typically would have for something, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you.
I'm down with that thinking, Ray. That's some down thinking right there.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I do. I think we have seen that rise though in comedians personally.
I think it's like we definitely have seen that in comedians. They're very, very in tuned with what's going on in the country and how to present it in a joking manner to think like, this isn't so serious, guys. We need to take a step back and ground ourselves. So, and I think things like that really just bind our country. And another area, which I'm very happy is coming back because I think will help alleviate some of the tension, is sports. Like, I'm not a huge sports fan. Like, I don't go out of my way to watch it. I don't have ESPN on all the time. I'm really not that big into sports, but I agree. Do what?
So just
men will.
Yeah, pretty much. But I agree with like what it does for the country. Like it binds people, like it unites a city over a common goal. Like our team is going to be the best, or, you know, it's not as divisive as some other things. So I'm really happy that basketball's coming back, baseball's coming back, and that it's just going to be another thing that we can talk about as a country to hopefully, you know, ground ourselves again.
Yeah, I could see that. We haven't had a lot of distractions.
No,
you know, it's
exactly.
been super focused on.
I think it's this is kind of funny. I was listening to a report the other day about how baseball is coming back, and they have very limited like crowd seatings. Like you really can't have a lot of people in the stadium. And so what they're gonna do is they're gonna put computer generated fans on the screen to make it look so at home it's gonna look like the crowds are full, and they're gonna put the audio track over it to make it sound like a normal baseball game. So it's basically going to look like it's going to look like you're watching somebody play a baseball video game is really what it's going to look like.
Dude, that's so like dystopian, you know, it really is. Like, look at all our people having fun.
We're going to be like the new Communist Party. Look at this propaganda. We have sports.
No, exactly. Look at our stadiums. Look at our crowds.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was glad to see like UFC, you know, like they did like they're doing like I mean, basically there's no audience there. You know, it's just two dudes having a sparring match essentially.
Well, basketball and all the scrimmages they're doing, since it's in the bubble, they have like socially distanced fans. It's kind of cool looking.
Yeah.
And you can hear like every footstep. It's the weirdest thing.
Oh, it is. Yeah, you can hear the echo kind of.
Yeah, you can hear the like hardwood and stuff, and you're just like, oh my god. You're like, everything's like, and you're just like, what is going on? You're like, all I hear is like,
moving. Yeah.
And like Denver, luckily, is in the bubble, the Nuggets. And they've got this new guy, Bol, who's Manute Bol's son, right? Yeah, he's killing it, dude. Like a 7-foot baller.
I only accidentally watch professional basketball.
Yeah, so do I. Like if it's on YouTube, I'm like, you know, let's do these ads, but I'm gonna get through this.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to like the bigger games, I think it's cool. Like Ray, we got together and watched the Super Bowl, And I hadn't seen a single game up until that point. That was the first football game I watched all year. It was the Super Bowl.
Sorry, Jimmy. I don't mean to spike your blood pressure.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl.
I'm excited. Oh my God. So speaking of sports, September 12th, Mike Tyson is getting back in the ring.
Oh yeah, dude. That's awesome.
Homeboy just needs some money, man.
No, okay, no, I don't think he does. I think Mike Tyson is rich enough. He doesn't need the money. But have you seen videos of him training?
Yes.
Dude,
oh God, that dude's still an animal.
he's 52 years old, and he moves like an 18-year-old. It's insane,
Yeah.
this guy.
That's
Holy shit.
That's what cocaine will do to you, man.
I don't think it's that, man. I don't think it's that. I think he just has that kind of personality. He is uber competitive. And he said this in an interview that's like, why has he not been training in these last 15 years? He just gave it all up. And he's like, because if I start again, I won't stop. Mm-hmm. Like, he just has that kind of personality. And we've seen it. Like, it was decided that he's going to go back. And then ever since then, he's been in the gym every day. He spars every day. Like, the man is just insanely competitive. Like, that's just how his brain is wired.
Yeah. Well, I think, too, with him, it's like, one, anyone who's that good, I mean, he's a gifted athlete, genetically superior to all of us sitting here on camera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, just – so yeah, like it's like he can pick it up at 52, and he's good to go, and he's I'm sure he's got like a team of nutritionists,
mm-hmm.
And dietitians who are helping him too. That always helps. But I think when you're in a fighting sport, like I know when I blew out my ACL and I couldn't keep training karate, and I got into like yoga and some other stuff, but I never got back into karate really. And like, you feel that gap in your life because there's nothing like a one-on-one combat sport.
Yeah.
Where like someone's popping you in the face and you're like, it just like dials you in a way I can't describe. And so I have no doubt that like the dude just missed it, like it's an adrenaline rush.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you have the personality for those types of sports, like, you got to get your fix somehow,
Yeah.
Making movies doesn't do it.
All the martial arts movies.
The Hangover.
Dude, okay, so speaking of martial arts movies, I watched Kickboxer for the very first time last week.
Kickboxer.
With Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Yes. I don't think I've seen that whole movie, to be honest.
So I've realized something. My new favorite subgenre of comedy movies are every Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. It is my new favorite, especially when I'm on something. Like those movies, he is the worst actor. I'm so sorry, Jean-Claude Van Damme, if you're watching this, but your acting in the 90s was not good. But that it's so funny to watch him try and know that he's only there because he can kick people to death.
Oh, yeah. The dude could do the splits and bench like 400 pounds.
So the entire Kickboxer starts off with Jean-Claude Van Damme. His brother in the movie is the world champion at kickboxing. He comes out of the ring with his belt and he's going into an interview, and a journalist says, "Are you going to go to Taiwan because that's where kickboxing was started?" His brother looks over at Jean-Claude Van Damme and says, "Oh, really? Yeah, buy a plane ticket." And then the movie starts. That is the entire reason for this movie, is because a journalist was like, "Hey, did you know this? No? Okay, let's make a movie about it."
I mean, it's more advanced of a plot than John Wick, so.
That's true, I guess. But it's just like the movies are not structured they're not crafted at all. Like they just happen. And
I don't know if have you seen Bloodsport?
I have seen Bloodsport.
Yeah, cause I think that's a cool one because it kind of was like this. It was like this, like, I guess, idealization of what the UFC might look like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Before it was really conceived, it was this kind of like half-baked concoction of like what such an organization would look like, and it was like it had to be underground,
Yeah.
And in a sand pit, but
less makeup.
That's what the UFC is missing, man. A sand pit with lions on chains. Yeah.
I'm down. I'm so down. Let's do this.
Oh my god.
Like bonus points if you beat the shit out of a lion.
So I watched Bloodsport for the very first time a couple months ago. I did not know that Forrest Whitaker is in that movie.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker. Fucking, I'm pretty sure he won I think he's either Oscar winning or Oscar nominated, like actor. Oh my god, actor. Cannot speak. Oscar. He's shut up.
Oscar nominated.
It is 10 a.m. and I cannot talk. Whatever. But yeah, he's a world-renowned A-list actor, and he's in this movie. He is the only good part about that movie, and even still, his character is one of the most one-dimensional characters I've ever met. So he is like the backup FBI agent whose whole like story is. The whole point of this character is just to overreact to everything. Like the main FBI agent will go into a scene and talk to some guy and be like, hey, what do you know about this? And then the guy will go, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. And then Forrest Whitaker will just go out of his mind, be like, what are you wasting our time for? All of the scenes are just like that. He goes from 0 to 100 out of nowhere. It's like, that's his whole character.
And it's so, it's movies like that make me think that maybe one day I could be an actor. You know what I mean? I just need a break. I need my own blood sport, and I'll just be good, you know?
Well, you need to be a world-class kickboxer and be from Austria.
Forrest Whitaker was that?
No.
And he's a fake fighter. He never won an actual fight.
Jean-Claude Van Damme?
He's from Brussels, and he's not. He's bullshit.
I thought he was actually like a world champion or something.
No, if he fought anybody for real, he gets his ass kicked.
Yeah, Chuck Norris is. He was like
Jean-Claude was big.
Okay, I did not know that.
Some people are some of those actors are truly just martial artists, like Jet Li, Jackie Chan. They're not like competitive fighters.
So you're saying Jean-Claude Van Damme is the real life Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat?
Basically.
He's just an actor who can fight really well?
Or no, he's an actor who can't fight really well is what I think.
I mean, he can still fight. Like in Bloodsport, you see him spread his legs like literally like this.
I'm telling you that he can't really fight. He only wins those fights in the movies because it's written in.
Okay.
Like most of the other action stars were actually fighters. He wasn't.
We should have UFC Celebrity Deathmatch.
Yes.
Remember those claymation shows?
Yes, dude, Deathmatch. I loved that show. Oh my god.
That's what we need. And Jimmy, that's your big commentator break right there, man.
Yeah.
You know, Jean-Claude Van Damme walks out. He's not even a real fighter. He's gonna lose. He's gonna do the double front snap kick to the side, and he will lose.
Well, if he tried to do one of those jumping spinning kicks, he'd get kicked out of the air very fast.
Like, what's that dude that played Spawn that's in a bunch of, like,
Michael Jai White?
Yeah, he's an actual, like, badass in real life.
Who is this?
You know who I think would do well in a celebrity deathmatch? The guy who played Darth Maul, Ray Parker.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he would do pretty good.
He's trained with, like, the Bo staff. He trained Shotokan Karate, actually, as well. And he's a gymnast.
I'm just taking
like backflip and smack you on top of the head.
Stunt doubles are insane athletes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is like Ray Parker, they just like dressed him up with makeup and stuff, and they were just like, do your thing. You know?
Have you ever watching behind the scenes of some of those movies and in like superhero movies as well? Like the stunt doubles are insane. Like Deadpool, I think had 2 different stunt doubles to do
there was a stunt.
Huh?
One of the stunt doubles actually died on Deadpool, right?
No, really? I didn't hear that.
Deadpool. There is a recent movie where a stunt actor died. Hold on, I'm gonna pull up my own Jamie right here.
Yeah. There's a lot of them that have died. Like there was a guy off of Gladiator, the one who played he's kind of old and he died from alcohol poisoning. But he totally died on set.
That's sad.
Yeah, Deadpool 2. Yeah, tragic death of stunt double.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Huh. Maybe that's why we're not getting a Deadpool 3.
Yeah,
We are getting a Deadpool 3.
Looks like there's something to do with a motorcycle, just based off what I'm seeing on Google.
Gotcha.
I don't remember that from the movie, but what do I know?
I haven't seen the movie in a while.
Yeah. It's been a minute.
I wonder how stunt doubles are treated in Hollywood. I wonder if they have fans and stuff too.
They probably
I
have
know
their
the-
own subculture of fans.
I know The Rock's stunt double is his cousin.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
pretty
I
cool.
bet he gets treated pretty well, but I think all the other ones you're just like,
You're Dwayne's cousin? Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's
It's
cool,
so-
man.
do
It's
your
pretty
thing, get off set, like you're a lowly little.
Yeah, dude, that's
Stunt
messed
double.
up.
Yeah.
it's cool to see like actors that keep roles in the family. Like Tom Hanks, his brother is a voice actor. And so whenever so like Toy Story, obviously Tom Hanks voices Woody. But when they were doing Toy Story like small movies and cartoon shows, like Tom Hanks is obviously too big to be in those kind of things. But
Mhm.
his brother sounds enough, and he's a professional voice actor, and he sounds enough like Tom Hanks that he's always like Woody in like cartoon shows or like right to movie Toy Story.
Huh.
Movie.
That is interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You know who does their own stunts and is pretty dang good at them is
Jackie
Tom
Chan.
Cruise. Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan invented parkour, dude. Straight up.
He really did.
Literally did.
Yeah, if you
Oh my
watch some of his stunts, like that guy can move. But yeah, Tom Cruise, I mean,
Drunk
there
and
was that recent Mission Impossible where he literally was on the side of a plane when it took off.
Yep, that was real.
There was no blue screen, and it's like, damn, dude. That takes some stones.
Yeah. But speaking of Jackie Chan, I really hope. Oh, there's a dog.
There's a lot of dogs out
There's a
here.
dog. So, speaking of Jackie Chan, I heard this. I hope it's not false that they're making Rush Hour 4.
What?
Oh yeah, I heard about that too.
I need this movie so bad. I love the Rush Hour movies. All
They're-
three of them are
Yeah,
so.
they were really good. I just hope they don't butcher it. They're doing. So
I
many
feel
reboots.
like it's gonna be like how Lethal Weapon. Like they did 1, 2, and 3, and then they waited a few years, and then they came back and they were pretty old. I feel like it's gonna be
4 was
exactly like
good.
that.
Lethal Weapon 4 was good.
Oh yeah. So I think it's still gonna be like I think it's gonna have the same feel, especially if it's Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. Like if they're gonna have the same chemistry.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Ain't nobody understand the words that are coming out of your mouth, man.
All y'all look alike. Like,
Oh, y'all look alike. Wait. Which one of y'all kicked me?
yeah. Which one are you?
I need to watch that now.
Dude,
Even I-
they're still
doing,
my favorite. Some of my
Rush Hour
favorite.
2 is my favorite.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, Rush Hour
We're
2.
doing, Abe and I are watching like Pineapple Express, Super Bad, all those like 2000s, like 2005 to 2008 like movies.
Yeah.
Those comedies and
Ray,
they're just
Oh,
so good.
like
So
George.
you're talking about like the beginning of the bromance stoner comedies.
Yes, yeah. Pineapple Express is 100% stoner comedy, but like
Oh,
even
God, yeah.
like Grandma's Boy.
Yeah. Oh, I love Grandma's Boy.
Be a fan of those movies and not smoke pot. Like,
What's that?
calm yourself down to laughing at those movies.
Yeah, it's just they don't make movies like those anymore. You know, like it kind of was like a generational thing. I feel like
Yeah.
the movies have changed slightly to like adapt to a different demographic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Ray, you would get a kick out of this because they started making like I don't know if you know who Iko Uwais is.
Nope.
But he played in like what was it called? What was that movie? That was super popular. But he's just a phenomenal like martial artist.
Mhm.
And like what's taken over Netflix is like he's got a bunch of movies on there.
I know who you're talking about. He's the guy who played Luke Cage, right?
No, he's the Raid. Have you ever heard of the Raid, the movie? Like super gory. Like he was a cop and he got trapped in this building with like the triad and stuff like that.
No.
He was in Mile 22 actually too. That's crazy.
I don't know either.
But all of those like super gory like martial arts movies
Mhm.
like have taken over Netflix and they're all like really good. I just
I
don't understand. Like they're all just so good.
I haven't seen
was
any
like,
of them.
man, that was awesome.
Yeah.
So
No, you got
Kyle, I haven't seen any movies in the genre on Netflix. What movie do you recommend I watch today?
You should watch Oh, there was one oh my gosh. It's super violent. You're probably going to puke. But he was in it too. It was called, let's see. No, not those. Not those. No.
Not those. Not that.
There's so many of them. It's hard to like pick one. Oh, The Night Comes for Us. You got to watch that.
The Night Comes for Us. Okay.
It's super violent, but it's really good.
All right. Looking forward to it.
Like Jim Carrey, Dumb and Dumber, like punching through the chest, pulling out the
No,
heart.
it's pretty bad.
Okay, I'm not into like super gory stuff, but
Yeah.
I'll give it a quick
Fight
preview.
scenes are incredible too.
Really?
Like there's like a group of like 2 or 3 guys who are taking on like 25 to 30 different guys with like machetes and like a bunch of stuff, and we're just like, it just gets you so pumped up to watch stuff like that because you're like, I could take on 30 dudes like myself. I could do this.
You break your fist on the first dude's jaw.
Yeah, and then you just cry.
And die.
Like, oh.
Dude, so speaking of Jim Carrey, he put out an autobiography recently, and it's titled Memoirs and Misinformation. And apparently it's like half fiction, half nonfiction. So he did an interview about it on The Daily Show. And apparently the premise of it was like, I wanted to make a memoir, wanted to make an autobiography, but he wanted to do it through the lens of how, what if like stories that we know of today that are kind of exaggerated, like King Arthur, like that might have actually been an autobiography, a truism hundreds and hundreds of years ago, but it's been misconstrued or misinterpreted over the years that we don't know what's true and what's not. He wanted to do that, but now. And so there's some of it that's true and some of it that's embellished, but you don't know which is which. And
it's
so,
like two truths and a lie.
Yeah, and like some characters are based off at like they're like changed the name and changed the situation that it's like it's truism, but not, I don't know. But I was just thinking about like that is the most Jim Carrey thing I have ever heard.
He's actually a pretty deep dude. Like he's highly spiritual and highly
yes.
I hope he does the Hollywood sex scandal, like where just Hollywood actors are pieces of shit people.
I hope he's not involved in that, dude. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen to Giselle in these coming weeks if she survives.
If she fucking dies in prison, man, I'm done.
She's done. It's confirmed. Dude, there's been so many things coming out about like how people connected to this scandal are like committing suicide or getting lost, and it's just like it's not coincidence.
Oh no,
not coincidence at all.
Not coincidence, dude.
I feel like Trump's. I mean, I don't know how Trump isn't just like. I wouldn't be able to sleep.
No,
you know, like that.
Trump and Hillary.
Hundreds of photos of like with Epstein and Giselle.
Well, Hillary Clinton too, or in some of those photos.
Oh no, dude, Bill Clinton is like
fucked.
Yeah.
Dude, did you see in the house on Epstein's island? There is or maybe it was in his mansion, and somewhere in one of Epstein's properties, there is a portrait of Bill Clinton in like dress shoes and a dress, like he's in high heels. Yes.
Bill Clinton?
Of Bill Clinton. It was a portrait, I think a painting of Bill Clinton in a blue dress and like red stilettos or something like that. Like Epstein had that kind of power over these people. I don't think I'm pretty sure like Bill Clinton didn't pose for this portrait. I think he just had it made. But still, to have that in your house and knowing that a former president is going to see it and not do anything about it is insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
We better, if Giselle doesn't make it to trial because she gets killed off.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, there better be like mass riots over that because it's just.
There was a story a couple weeks ago that a judge who was set to like run this case, her son was assassinated and her husband almost was. Apparently somebody like dressed as a FedEx driver showed up to the house and shot the son and the son and the father. Father survived, thank God. Unfortunately, son didn't. But yeah, it was a judge who was set to run that case, and her family almost like
that was like earlier this week or something, right?
Yeah, it was. I think it was about a week ago.
Yeah.
Dude.
I know that Ava was telling me about that, and I was like, oh my God. Dude, I'm not big into conspiracy theories, but like, man, This isn't even one. This isn't even one where they're trying to hide it. It's like so in your face, and that's the problem I have with it. Is like they give zero shits about how they cover their tracks. It's like in front of the public eye.
Yeah.
Murder a dude in his cell. Like, what?
Yep.
Like, yeah. Oh, that's why, man. If Giselle dies, dude, I don't even know what our society will do, because it's like the foundation of our society is like a fair trial.
Yeah.
You know, like our judicial system kind of is the bedrock for everything.
Dude,
you know?
the issue with like pedophilia and sex trafficking, like that is probably the largest issue in the world that gets virtually zero media attention in this country.
Yes. Well, and I mean, clearly there's a lot of money involved with it, you know, and that's the thing is like, I mean, you're looking at a very small proportion of like the world that gets away with it, but they have an immense amount of money and influence, you know.
There's millions upon millions of these poor, like, I couldn't imagine just being one of those people that are being human trafficked, and that you can look at yourself as a human being and be okay with what you're doing because of money.
I know. Yeah, it's
like, stupid.
It's a weird underground that's kind of been exposed due to the Epstein case. You know, and it based off what I've read, it has crept its way into all aspects of the higher echelon of the United States of America.
Yep.
And it's like, man, that system of corruption needs to end now, you know?
That's what a lot of these movies, that's what's funny about this movie, The Night Comes for Us, because he was about, like, the whole premise is that he worked for the Triad and he was part of like this huge, the like top tier of triads. And he was supposed to, he like burned an entire village, killed a bunch of people, and then he saw this kid and it just brings him back to humanity. And it brings him back to being a person. And so he kills like all of the people he was with and saves the kid. And everybody's trying to kill him and kill the kid because he turned on the Triad, basically.
Nice. Well, now I don't need to watch it. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Thanks for ruining the whole story, Kyle. God. Spoiler alert. Jesus.
But it's really the fights. You got to watch it for the
more
fights.
to that. There's more to that. There's more to the story than that. But
oh, man. Well, hey, I've got to get rolling, actually, unfortunately. I'm meeting up with a brown belt from the Front Range. We're looking to open up a jiu-jitsu gym. She's going to open up a gym in Crested Beach, an offshoot of Ghost Jiu-Jitsu.
Gotcha.
Ghost Jiu-Jitsu.
All right. Well, hey, real quick, before we log off, I wanted to give Jimmy an opportunity to advertise his podcast.
He's been doing that just by sitting there, man.
What?
I said,
just listening. You know.
Oh, no. So I was just going to say, I want to give you the opportunity to advertise your podcast if you wanted to talk about it.
Yeah. Right now it's called Center of Attention. It's possibly going to be rebranded and add a co-host. So comes out on all platforms every Thursday. Talk about a whole bunch of stuff, mainly sports. Not mainly sports, but sports are a big topic. So check it out.
Heck yeah. Everyone listening, please subscribe to Jimmy Pallotto, Center of Attention. Really good podcast. Really cool dude. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for attending us for this Sunday morning podcast. If you like what we had to say, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay up to date with all information coming for Rabbit Hole. All right, y'all. Catch you later.
Bye. Bye, guys. Bye, all.